The gallery opening in Chelsea was loud, expensive, and suffocating. I was 32, a senior curator for one of New York's most prestigious art houses. I was wearing a dress that cost more than my father's first car, holding a glass of sparkling water I didn't want, smiling at people who didn't know my middle name. I was the picture of modern female empowerment, independent, successful, and visible. But standing there, surrounded by portraits of distorted faces, I felt like a fraud. My entire life was about curation, curating my feed, my wardrobe, my reputation. I was exhausted from the constant performance of being me. I escaped to the terrace for air. Standing there was unintentional company. Leyla, a young artist we had just signed. She was wearing a hijab, a soft silk fabric wrapped elegantly around her head. In an industry that worshipped exposure, she was an anomaly. "It's too loud in there," I said, leaning against the railing. Leyla smiled, clutching her phone. "I was actually just checking the time for Maghrib, the sunset prayer. I need to find a quiet corner." "You pray 5 times a day, even here?" I asked, gesturing to the chaos inside. "Especially here," she laughed softly. "It reminds me that none of this," she pointed to the skyline, the gallery, the glamour, "is the center of the universe. It anchors me." She excused herself and I watched her go. That word stuck with me. Anchored. I wasn't anchored. I was drifting. A week later, I found myself deep in a YouTube rabbit hole. It started with looking up architecture, which led to calligraphy, which led to the Quran. I listened to a recitation of Surah Maryam. I was shocked. I had grown up secular, but I knew the basics of Christianity. Here was a whole chapter named after Mary, the mother of Jesus. It spoke of her with such profound tenderness and honor. It described the pains of childbirth, her solitude, her reliance on God when the world turned against her. It wasn't the angry, patriarchal text the media had warned me about. It was a love letter to the human soul. I bought a translation and began reading it on the subway, hiding the cover. The verse in Surah Ar-Ra'd hit me like a physical blow. "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." Rest. That was the one thing I couldn't buy, couldn't curate, and couldn't fake. The intellectual battle was fierce. I was a feminist. I was liberal. How could I reconcile this? But the more I read, the more I realized my definition of freedom had been warped. I thought freedom was showing everything. I realized freedom was deciding who gets to see you. I thought submission was weakness. I realized submitting to the Creator meant I no longer had to submit to the impossible standards of society. One rainy Tuesday, I decided to try it. I was in my apartment, alone. I washed my face, arms, and feet, wudu, mimicking a tutorial I watched online. The water felt cold, shocking, and cleansing. I put on a long scarf, wrapping it clumsily. I looked in the mirror. For the first time in years, I didn't check if my makeup was perfect or if my body looked right. I just saw my eyes. I saw the human being. I placed my forehead on the rug. I didn't know the Arabic words perfectly, so I just spoke in English. "God, if you are there, take this weight off my chest. I am tired of running." In that prostration, the silence wasn't empty, it was full. I felt a warmth spread through my chest, a sensation of being held. I cried until my scarf was soaked. It wasn't sadness. It was the relief of a child finally finding their parent in a crowded room. The next day, I went to a small Islamic center in Queens. I didn't want the sterilized atmosphere of a big organization. I wanted community. The women's section was buzzing with life. Children running, women chatting in 3 different languages. No one judged my clothes. No one asked for my resume. An older woman, noticing my hesitation, simply scooted over and patted the space next to her. "Sit, sister," she said. After the prayer, I asked to speak to someone about converting. They didn't make a ceremony of it. They didn't make me stand on a stage. It was intimate, just me and 3 other women in a quiet circle. I took a deep breath. "I bear witness that there is no deity but God," I said, my voice steady. "And I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger." The women embraced me. One of them, a Somali grandmother, kissed my forehead and whispered, "Welcome home. You were clean before, but now you are new." Walking back to the subway, I didn't wear a hijab yet. I wasn't ready for the public battle. But I felt different. The city was just as chaotic, the sirens just as loud, but the noise didn't reach inside me anymore. I had spent my life curating art for others to look at, but I had finally found the master artist who was looking at me. And for the first time, being seen by him was enough.